Hi there, everyone, and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. Our topic is Help! My thyroid has taken my brain hostage, the Thyroid Brain Connection. So, if you are new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm Shay, one of the naturopaths here at the Lucy Rose Clinic. And I'm delighted to be with you today because this is a topic that so many people, especially women, can relate to, and especially patients who come to us or have questions about their thyroid health. And it can be difficult to get answers for, right? So if you've ever felt like your memory is slipping, your thinking is foggy, can't remember things, or you're not as mentally sharp as you used to be, and you have a thyroid issue, then this session is absolutely for you. So why is this a thing? Well, let's start with the basics. The thyroid is a small gland in the base of the neck. It's so small, but don't let its size fool you because it is a mighty, mighty part of the body. It's responsible for regulating our metabolism throughout the whole body, including the brain. So, I touched on this last week. We tend to think about our metabolism in terms of weight management. When we're referring to metabolism here, we're talking about cellular metabolism. So, how quickly and efficiently our body does the things that it's supposed to do from a cellular level. And the thyroid plays a huge part. So, when your thyroid is under functioning, which can be, is known as hypothyroidism, it slows everything down. Including your brain's ability to process information, access memory, and regulate mood. It slows down your digestion, your ability to detox, everything. But we're focusing on the brain today. So, as well too, if you're dealing with an autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's, which affects the thyroid, you've got an added layer of complexity there to be dealing with. There's increased chance of inflammation and immune dysfunction that directly impacts brain tissue and neurotransmitter balance. So, common symptoms relating to the brain in relation to thyroid dysfunction are what we see the most, I guess, common mental and emotional symptoms that clients report to us when their thyroid function is not optimal include brain fog, which is this lovely catch-all that sounds so soft and gentle when you feel like you're walking around in a mental cloud. And it includes things like just what I did there, which is forgetting what I was talking about halfway through a sentence. So forgetfulness or word finding difficulties, low motivation. It's not laziness, guys. Your metabolism is working against you. Difficulty concentrating or retaining new information. Low mood that can present like depression or anxiety or in conjunction with those two conditions. And poor mental endurance. So when you get like mentally fatigued quite easily or more easily than you used to. And there's sometimes symptoms are really frustrating, right? Especially if you've been told your blood test results are normal. Oh, what a word, normal. And in this day and age, we lead busy lives. We've got a lot to achieve. We've got a lot of life to live. It's frustrating when you start forgetting things mid-sentence or you can't remember, and you find yourself doing to-do lists all the time, or you've got that low motivation. It can be really like a real struggle, right? And these are all symptoms that something is not quite right underneath the surface. There's something in the biochemistry, and here at the Lucy Rose Clinic, we love looking at biochemistry and everything to do with biochemistry. So that's what's behind the symptoms. So the thyroid hormone T4, or thyroxine, is the primary. It's primarily inactive, right? Floats around waiting to be needed. What we want plentiful amounts of or sufficient amounts of is T3, which is the activated version. It only makes up something like 10% of our total thyroid hormone, and we need lots of nutritional cofactors there for that to happen. The active form is what goes into the cell and regulates all that cellular activity that relates to our metabolism. So that includes things like neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. So they're the feel-good, calming, focusing chemicals that we need lots of. Mitochondrial energy production, which powers every cell, including brain cells. So that energy production, governed by T3, is how quickly and efficiently our body produces energy. And when everything is slow, the body struggles to make energy at a rate of which we need it, right? So that slow recovery can be a sign. And then myelin production, which keeps your nerves communicating efficiently. So myelin sheaths cover the nerves, right? And if that is not at a good level of production, then that can lead to issues with nerve communication. So when T3 levels drop, either because your thyroid isn't producing enough, or you're not converting T4 to T3 well, or you have inflammation interfering with hormone transport, you start to experience mental fatigue and brain fog. So the inflammation connection, I want to talk about that next because that affects so many of us here. For autoimmune conditions, specifically autoimmune thyroid conditions, inflammation can cross the blood-brain barrier and lead to what's called neuroinflammation, which impairs memory, focus, and can, in a worst-case scenario, increase the risk for cognitive decline later in life. Low thyroid function can also lead to leaky gut. So that's when, the lining of our gut tissue should be nice and tight like this. Leaky gut is when the tissues are loose and stuff goes in and out that shouldn't. And leaky gut is closely linked to leaky brain. Who comes up with these names? They're terrible, right? Leaky brain. So compromised blood-brain barrier that allows inflammatory compounds to impact your central nervous system. Which we don't want. We need our nervous systems intact with nice tight barriers. So what can we do from a naturopathic perspective? Well, there's lots and lots of things that we get excited by because, this is everything that we do here and we're very passionate about it. Nutritional support, tyrosine and iodine, the building blocks of thyroid hormone. We always test before supplementing. Particularly with iodine. Zinc and selenium are crucially important for hormone conversion and antioxidant protection. Selenium in particular is really important for thyroid hormone conversion, and zinc does lots of things too in and around supporting immune function and integrity of tissues. B vitamins, B6, B12, and folate, especially for neurotransmitter production. Omega-3s, good quality, responsibly sourced omega-3s to reduce neuroinflammation and to support brain cell membranes. And then iron and vitamin D, which are essential for thyroid and cognitive health. And vitamin D is a hormone precursor and they're both really important as well for modulating inflammation. We see a lot of deficiencies in these nutrients here at the Lucy Rose Clinic. Herbal allies. There's lots. Thankfully, there's lots of different herbs that help support cognition and thyroid function and our nervous system. So we love bacopa here, supporting memory and clarity. Withania, sometimes known as ashwagandha, supports the HPA axis and in some instances may improve T4 to T3 conversion. Ginkgo biloba enhances brain circulation and circulation in general. And then rhodiola boosts mental resilience and reduces fatigue. It's a brilliant herb, that. We also here, we look at a lot in terms of what we eat, right? Because food is medicine. So anti-inflammatory foods and gut health. We do food intolerance testing here because it's really important to know this. But we will always say as general anti-inflammatory support, removing gluten and dairy is especially important for Hashimoto's. But in general, we find people with high inflammation do well when those two inflammatory food groups are removed. I know. But believe me, there's so many amazing alternatives out there for gluten-free and dairy foods. And that's something that we can help you with. Turmeric, ginger, oily fish, lots of color in your veggies. As well to, choosing, when you're choosing meats and eggs and things, making sure they're higher welfare choices. So free range where possible, organic where possible, grass-fed where possible, just to reduce exposure to poor quality meats, I guess, meats and animal products. And then supporting gut health with fermented foods and prebiotics. So things, like kefir, coconut kefir if you don't like, if you're not having dairy, sauerkraut, kimchi, all of these things can be really good for the gut, kombucha. And then lifestyle strategies, because we have to support our lifestyle, and that includes things like good movement, breath work, yoga, nature walks, sleep hygiene to support overnight brain detox, and to really help regulate our circadian rhythm, right? So not scrolling through the deep and dark realms of TikTok late at night when you're trying to fall asleep, please. And also cognitive training. So learning new skills, puzzles, arts and crafts, like actually making things with your hands, can be really good as well. And then red flags to watch for. All right. If you're feeling persistently foggy, anxious, or down, even with medication, it's worth speaking to your healthcare provider for a more detailed thyroid panel, if you can get one, which can be tricky. And one of the things that we offer as part of all of our programs is a comprehensive thyroid panel, because you need to look beyond just TSH, right? Thyroid stimulating hormone. The reference ranges they use are huge. It can tell us that there's something going on, but it doesn't really drill down into what's happening. It doesn't show us the conversion from T4 to T3. It doesn't show reverse T3 at all. And you need to also see what your antibodies are doing. And also nutrient markers, B12, iron, vitamin D. They're all really important. So, sometimes when we just look at one marker, it doesn't give us the full picture. And it can be hard to get testing done, unless you come to us, because we do so much. There's so much that we can provide for you, and it's comprehensive, and we look at everything. The naturopathic perspective is always about finding the underlying cause and removing obstacles to health. So not just identifying what the issues are, but guiding you through the changes that you make to get you to a point where you can maintain your health easily and for the long term. So the thyroid, to basically sum up, the thyroid brain connection is real. You're not imagining your symptoms, and when your thyroid isn't running properly, you feel it in your brain. You feel it in all parts of your body, but you do feel it in your brain. That would be probably one of the top 5 symptoms people come to us for, would be brain fog. But with the right testing, modifications to lifestyle, to diet, herbal support, you can absolutely reclaim your focus, your memory, and your mental energy. And so if you found today's session helpful, by all means, feel free to share. If you know anyone struggling with similar issues. And if you're ready for personalized support, you know where to find us. Scan that QR code up there. Or go to our website and book in for a complimentary, no obligation discussion with one of our Lucy Rose team, and take the first step forward in reclaiming your health and vitality. All right. So until next time, take care of yourselves, right? Take care of your body, your mind, and your precious, precious thyroid. Thank you for joining me today.